Welcome back, everyone. In the previous video, I had just finished bending the sides and securing the end blocks in place. Now that the glue has had time to set, I'm diving into the next step, the kerfing process. Kerfing involves making cuts along a piece of wood that will be glued to the instrument sides before attaching the top and back. Basically, it's cutting most of the way through a piece of wood, so it will bend easily, but still have enough surface area for the glue to form a strong bond with both the sides and the top. I made a jig out of some scrap wood to help with this step. The jig is made of a sled that the kerfing sits on, and 2 stop blocks to keep the depth and position relative to the saw blade consistent. I also drew 2 marks on the sled so I can line up the first cut with the first mark and make sure everything is the same size. I'm going to space these cuts 1/4 inch apart on a strip of wood that is 3/8 of an inch tall with a 15-degree bevel. Since I need 2 pieces just under 30 inches for each side, I'm going to need about 9 feet total. I'm going to do a dry fit since I need to make sure this will not hit the end blocks. It's also a good idea to make sure this isn't going to break before I get glue on, because that will be a mess. It's worth taking the time to go slow, because it's easy for the kerfing to slip and move above or below the side. That's a hard problem to fix, because if they aren't in the same plane, I won't be able to glue the top and the sides together, and I will have to either sand everything flat or make a new side and start over. It's better to have the kerfing a little bit above the sides, but best to avoid it altogether. This takes time because it has to be done twice on each side, and then the glue has to dry. I kept the kerfing fairly flat, but there's a little bit of glue that has squeezed out, and that needs to be sanded. I've moved inside, and the cat has decided to join me, but I suspect she's waiting for me to leave so she can sit on top of my stuff. I'm not sure if you can see this through the camera, but the area where material has been removed is a lighter color than everywhere else. I can also feel where it's smoother. I don't want to take a lot of material off, I just want to get everything flat. Once the first side is finished, rinse and repeat. The sides have been sanded flat on the sandpaper, and now I'm going to work on the back. Until now, I've left the lip on the edge alone, but it's not truly flat like it needs to be for me to glue this together. Also, one cat got bored and left, and the other one has since taken her spot. As the sun has shifted, the lighting in my workspace isn't ideal at the moment. However, I need to let the glue dry overnight, and the shop is currently occupied with other things. Admittedly, my setup here might not look the best, but at least it gained the cat's approval. Some instrument makers will use a bucket of clamps or a configuration of dowels to secure the tops of their instruments during gluing. In my case, I don't have enough clamps or dowels for such a setup, but I do have kitchen skewers. It's basically the same thing, except on a smaller scale. I didn't point it out, but you might have seen how the skewers worked like springs when I glued the kerfing onto the sides. In this situation, the skewers will be pushed down on the bottom of the Dulcimer and against the top of this box that the cats are sitting on. I'm going to put some tape down to prevent any glue squeezing out from getting on the sides, but I also want to make sure there isn't any tape in the glue joint. I'm going to try to clean up any glue that does squeeze out, but it's hard to see underneath the lip, so I'm going to leave this in as a precaution. part of my dry fit, I drilled some registry holes so I know when the bottom is positioned correctly. These nails fit in the holes so I can line everything up and also keep the top from sliding around while I glue it. Sorry I didn't realize the cats had their tails in the way when I was filming this. I probably should have moved them into the other room, but they were really enjoying this box that they're sitting on, and I didn't want to make them leave. I had a bit of trouble with the camera towards the end, but here's a glimpse of the setup after gluing the bottom in place. With that done, I'll let it dry overnight and assess the next steps from there. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in seeing how this turns out, stay tuned for more updates.